Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So I have a few more autumn-themed cards that I want to share with you. And I've been playing around with some scraps this weekend since I've been creating all these autumn-themed cards. I have a lot of scraps, so I have a couple, I guess you'd call them scrappy strip designs to share with you. So they feature the beautiful autumn, because that's the one I've been playing with. They feature this beautiful autumn stamp set. So the bundle actually comes with three little punches so that you can punch out these leaves, the acorn, and then this set of leaves. So it's a really nice little set. So I'm going to share these card ideas with you, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about my World Card Making Day event, which will be coming up on October 3rd. So good morning, everybody. So what I'm going to start out with, I'm going to get rid of some of these here. So these are the cards that I'm going to show you how to make today. And then the rest of the cards are actually out on my blog. So I've linked to the blog post in the description with this video. But these are the cards that I'll show you today. They're very simple, and they use up all the scraps, well, most of the scraps that I had laying around. So good morning, everyone. So let's start with this one. So this is kind of a fun little design here. So actually, as I was creating some of the inserts, like these inserts here, these are 5 1/4 by 4 inch pieces of just crumb cake cardstock that I used for the inside of the card. So as I was creating those, I ended up with all these little 1/2 inch wide strips. So I decided to just create just a little different design with that so that I could use up those cardstock strips. So here is how we are going to do this. Let me get my glue here. Good morning. Hello. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Barbara. Okay, so let me make sure my glue is set up here. So basically, I have 7 of these strips. I have a lot more, but we'll just use these 7 that I have here. So what you're going to want to do is just kind of lay them across your card front. So these are 1/2 inch wide, and they're 4 inches long. And it just kind of creates like this fun little slat wood design, I guess. Kind of looks like wood slats to me, probably because they're crumb cake cardstock. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is laying these across here just to kind of get an idea of where I want to adhere them. I find that this is just a little bit easier to adhere them when you lay them on the cardstock first. Okay, so then we're just going to add some glue, and I'm just using liquid glue. And we'll just go one by one and adhere these. So this is probably the putziest part. And yeah, I'll mess them up as I'm going along. Now you could do this with cardstock like I am. You can also do it with your pieces of, leftover scrap designer series paper. So I'll show you a card that I created with the designer series paper that is really basically the same. Oops, I can mess this up here. It's basically the same design. It's just designer series paper. Okay. So I'm leaving like, I don't know, about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, something like that in between. So I'll try to go a little bit faster here. They gotta be straight though, right? These ideas are always good until I get on camera. All right, we just got 2 more strips. So they're not like perfect, but you get the idea. And the last one. Okay, so you're just going to adhere these 7 little strips. And again, these strips are a 1/2 inch wide and they're 4 inches long. So that way that just kind of gives me a little bit of, you know, the early espresso cardstock from the base of the card kind of shows through and gives me a nice matting. And then I just took a scrap piece of the designer paper, and that's going to go on this side of the card. And I just snipped the bottom into a little banner, so I'm going to do that real quick. So the best way to snip it into a banner is to snip up the center and then go from corner to center. It kind of gives you a more even banner. So the banner is going to go on this side. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp my little sentiment. So I have a little greeting that says, "Hey there," and this is just a greeting from the particular stamp set that I'm using. But so you can use whatever you want. So we'll stamp that on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, and then we'll just add our little focal point. And so the focal point I created with, you know, some of the images from the Beautiful Autumn bundle. And I'm just going to pop them up. Oops, hold on one second here. We'll add a couple of dimensionals to this. So I just have this little square that I created from a die cut. It's the Stitch Shapes die. So we'll pop this up on the card, and I'm going to pop it up diagonally here so it looks like a diamond. And then we'll just add our little leaves. So I already punched these out, but these are little leaves and little acorns that I created with this particular bundle. So there's images, stamp images in this bundle that you can stamp and then color them in with another stamp. So it has like an outline stamp, and then it has a fill-in stamp so you can stamp the color. Okay, so there's our little focal point. And now I'm just going to add my little bow, and we'll call it good. So this is a great way to use up your cardstock if you're using cardstock. Let me grab the other one. Or if you want to use up designer paper, I did the exact same thing. So I just used designer paper strips and created a background on my card. So either way, they're both really pretty. So, and then you can go ahead and we'll add just a couple little embellishments here. So I'm just using these gilded gems just to add a little bling. And we'll put that one right there. There we go. So it's just kind of a fun look, different. And then I just added some paper on the inside since I'm using some dark cardstock. Okay, so we'll set this to the side here. And the second one that I want to share with you is this one. So this one you can use, I actually used a variety of different strips to create this card. So I have 1/2 inch wide strips, some are 3/4 inch, and then this one is 1 inch. So it's a great way to use up a variety of different scraps. So let me show you this one. I'm going to get this out of the way. So I started with a piece of crumb cake cardstock. So this is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then I have a variety of different strips here. They're all different sizes, so you don't have to worry about the length because we're going to do a little bit of paper tearing. So I'm just going to tear the top and the bottom. Just add a little different look. And then I'm going to lay these out first just to get an idea of the look here. So again, I'm just going to tear these off. So that's why I say you don't really have to worry about cutting them down to size, because you can tear them down to size. And then this one, we'll just tear a little bit off. So this one will go there. And again, you can play around with the different sizes. These are 1/2 inch wide, this is 1 inch wide. And then I got a little different piece here. And this is 1/2 inch. And then this is about 3/4. So there. Gives you just a different look, kind of a fun little design. So I'm just gonna start, actually, yeah, I'll start on the side. Maybe I would start on the other side, but. And then you're just gonna adhere them to your cardstock side by side. So we're gonna adhere them right up against this one. So once you get the first piece adhered, then it's pretty easy to adhere the other pieces, because you're just going to be adhering them directly against the previous piece. So they're all side by side. So if you're looking for some fun ways to use up your scraps, and these are pretty easy, these are some fun little ideas for you. And of course I love autumn theme cards, so that's why I'm kind of stuck on this particular paper. Okay. So we'll give that a second to dry. So pretty simple, right? I hope you think it's simple. Then I just have a, I think this is 1 inch, no, this is 3/4 inch. Just 3/4 inch by 4 piece of crumb cake cardstock. And I'm just gonna stamp a greeting right on the front of that. Now you can leave it this way and just use it directly. Just use it, you know, so it runs from end to end. This is 4 inches wide. Or you can do a little bit of tearing like I did here. So for this one, I'll just leave it as is so you can see the difference. But we'll pop this up on the card. But before I do that, let's get the card base over here. So I'll adhere this. So this is our background piece. And I'm just using early espresso cardstock for the base of the card. And then this is crumb cake cardstock that I have these pieces adhered on. So we'll go ahead and add our sentiment, our greeting right across here. And then I thought I'd show you how to make this bow. So I always tell you guys that this is linen thread. It's 2 pieces of linen thread. So I have 2 pieces of linen thread here. I don't know if you can see it, but they're just the same length. And so you just create a little bow with your linen thread. And linen thread is pretty easy to work with. So once you create your little bow, just kind of pull it tight, pull that knot tight. And I like using 2 pieces together because they seem to, you can notice it better. It seems to make it just a little fuller. So I'll just trim that down. And then I always adhere my little linen thread bow with a glue dot. I put my glue dot right on the back of the knot and then adhere it to the card. And then you can just kind of play with these pieces. So, okay, So let's add a couple little gems here. Whoops, if I can grab them. So we'll put a little gem right in there. And then we'll put another one over here. Okay, so there you go. So that's another fun little card. And again, it's a great way to use up scraps. Okay, so this last card idea that I want to show you how to make is another fun way to use up your scraps, because that's what the theme is today, using up your scraps. So even if you don't have the same, pattern papers that I'm using here, that's okay. You can use whatever scraps you have to create your card. So what I did with this is I have a bunch of different scraps here, and they're all different lengths. So the key is, you want to make sure that it fits your cardstock piece. So my cardstock piece here is 3. It's 3 inches by 4 inches. So I want to make sure that my pieces are at least 3 inches or longer so that I can create this design. So I have a variety of different pieces. Some are 1 inch, some are 1/2 inch, some are 3/4 inch. So again, the basic premise for this is just to adhere these to this cardstock piece. So I'm going to start with the biggest one. We're going to put that right in the middle. And don't worry about the excess because we're going to trim that off. And we'll put this next to it. And let's see, maybe this over here. So you're just going to adhere all these pieces right next to each other, side by side. Oh, this time I added the glue to my piece, just in case you were wondering what I was doing. And I might need an extra one. We'll see. Oh, looks like it's good. Then we'll add some here. I might have glued this to the table. Oh no, it's scooting around, that's good. Okay, so you really just need a cardstock piece to, that's 3 by 4 inches, just so that you can align these all the way across. And then you're just going to go through with your scissors and just trim off all these extra pieces. So you're just going to follow along this, you're just going to follow the 3 by 4 inch piece of cardstock and just trim everything off. So you're going to want to just trim this all off, and that's why I said it really doesn't matter what size pieces you use, because you're going to trim it off anyways once you create your fun little design. Okay, so then you have a fun little background design that you can use for your card. Now for mine, I just decided to adhere this piece here to a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece of early espresso cardstock. So it's just 1/4 inch larger than this crumb cake cardstock piece. So it'll give it a nice matting. And since this paper has all that early espresso color in it, it just kind of really makes that color pop. And then you can wrap some linen. I wrapped some linen thread around the whole thing, but I think I'm just going to adhere this one directly to my card front without that linen thread wrapped around. So we'll do that. I'm just popping it up with a couple dimensionals. And let's see if I can get this on here fairly straight. Fairly straight. Okay, and then you can just create your little focal point. In this case, I'm just using some layering circles together to create my focal point. I'm going to offset it a little bit because I'm going to add my little bow off to the side. So we'll just put that right there. And I'll trim this a little. And then we can go ahead and embellish it. So I'm going to use, just some of those little stamped images. And this time I think I'm going to put a little acorn on there too. So I'll put that little guy down there. So there you go. Another fun way to use up some of your scrap pieces of paper. So let me show you. I'm going to bring back some of these other designs. So these are the 3 that we made today. And then this one I already showed you. So these 2 are very similar. They use the same kind of design for the background, that 1/2 inch wide by 4 inch piece of either cardstock or pattern paper. So that's what these 2 are. And then I also used some 1/2 inch wide pieces of designer paper and just kind of went on an angle to create this type of design. Now you can go partially like I did, or you can cover the whole piece of cardstock, with all different patterns of designer paper. So I decided to just go partial. And then this one, I didn't use small strips. I used some larger pieces of designer paper that I had and just kind of layered them together to create this card. So just some fun and different ideas for you guys. So I also want to tell you a little bit about my World Card Making Day. I'm going to move these out of the way for a second. So I'm going to tell you about my World Card Making Day event. So I decided to do, of course, to showcase this beautiful autumn stamp set. So I have 10 different cards here that I'm going to share with you on World Card Making Day. So you can join me right here on my Facebook page. It's a free event to everybody. So we'll stamp together and we'll make these 10 different cards. So you'll notice that I have these little envelopes. I have these little cards here that have like this gold, what do you call it? This gold outline design around the edge of the card. So this is actually a pack of card bases and envelopes that you can get. So there's like gold envelopes, and then it has this coordinating card base with this gold trim on it. So that's what we're going to use to create the cards for World Card Making Day. So I decided to put together some card kits. So you can either use your own supplies, because I'm going to walk you through how to create all of the 10 different designs that day. So you can either use your own supplies, or if you want, you can grab one of my card kits. So in the link with this video, it'll take you to my blog where you can learn about the cards I just shared. But then there's also a link to learn about World Card Making Day in this event. So you can grab a card kit if you're interested in that, or like I said, you can use your own supplies, so whatever you want to do. But we'll make all 10 of these cards, so there's just quick and simple ideas, but they're just going to be a lot of fun. So I expect to have a lot of fun that day. We'll have 2 different sessions. It'll be 10 to 11 o'clock. We'll do the first 5 cards. And then 1 to 2 o'clock p.m. we'll do the second set of 5. So we'll do a total of 10 that day. And that's Central Time. So that's, 10 o'clock Central Time for me. So I'm not sure what time that is for you. But yeah, we'll have a lot of fun and we'll make some cards together that day. And again, you can use the same, set that I'm using, or you can choose whatever set you have on hand. So, all right, you guys. I think that's all I wanted to share with you today. I'll bring these cards back so you can take another peek at them. They're all out on my blog, along with information on my World Card Making Day event, which will be held right here on October 3rd. It's a Saturday. So World Card Making Day is always the first Saturday in October. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and I will talk to you guys again next week. Take care, everybody.